Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Thursday's Amani Changed My Life series. Today we have Sister Aisha El Habrar, who's living in UAE. I think you're in Sharjah, right, Aisha?
Yeah, Sharjah, right.
Okay, great. So I want to start by first of all, introduce yourself. Let us know like who you are, and then I want you to tell me how did you come to find out about Amani Birth? Where did you find us?
Okay. I was born brought up in UAE, and I don't have any siblings. So when I got married, I when I got pregnant, actually before I got pregnant, I somehow came to know about Amani Birth because we were very natural focused, and especially my husband was even in the food. He wanted me to leave all the processed foods and everything as soon as I got married. So he
Bless
was
him.
very cautious on the holistic approach, and then I was also more keen on that. And then, especially, I don't know, I think I came to know about Amani Birth on Facebook. I think when I used to see many updates that many of them became doulas and
Okay.
Amani
So you were
channels.
following the Facebook page.
Yes, I was following, and then
You're
I
not
was
sure
like,
how
so
you found out about it.
I don't remember, but then I used to see a lot of updates, and then I was very familiar with the word Amani Birth. I used to hear a lot of it. Then I started researching what it was, and then although I couldn't enroll for the course, I just wanted to take some prenatal classes. So then I just took some free online available, whatever classes were there before my birth, and then I came to know about the birth plan and everything. So I took some whatever knowledge I could get, and then I gave my birth plan to my doctor. And although I did a lot of other things, Alhamdulillah, my birth was normal. But then after the birth, there were some things which the doctor had performed, like a surgery, which was not. I don't think it was according to my plan, or
Okay.
Allahu Alam, still I don't know what the doctor had.
Okay.
It was pretty traumatic for me after birth because
Yeah.
I suffered with breathing problems also. So Alhamdulillah, till some extent, through Amani birth, I was also in the group by the time I was
You're talking about the
pregnant.
WhatsApp group.
Yeah. So I
Right.
used to get a lot of updates, and then from there also I got a lot of knowledge. And then finally later on, now when my daughter was 2.23, took my classes with you for
Right.
Amani
Yeah,
birth.
I felt like you were kind of like off in the distance. Like I knew you were there and like you're really interested, but
Yeah.
you really weren't engaging yet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your relationship now, you've taken the training. You just recently finished the training, right?
Yes, I just recently finished.
Right. So I'm expecting, inshallah, that I know that you have, quite a nice little social media following, and you have moms that are looking up to you. So, inshallah, what are your goals with that Amani training? What are you going to do with that?
I have this Helen Motherhood group, so where I support mothers. Now, since I'm a certified breastfeeding counselor, also I support mothers in the group,
Nice.
and even for
You
my
did
other
that through
projects.
Sharjah. Did you do that through Sharjah's Breastfeeding Friends?
Yes.
Yeah. So Sharjah UAE has a really great respect for breastfeeding. That particular Emirates, and I think there's a sheikha that supports that, right?
Yeah, Sheikha Jawahir.
Right, bless her. And she, really has taken on the challenge or the project of breastfeeding. And I just wanted to point that out because I know that that's really been a life changer also for many of the girls in
Yeah, yeah,
UAE.
a lot, a lot. Even I used to hear about even that also before my marriage. I know, I think maybe after my marriage, I was hearing that a lot. And then I knew this was from Supreme Council of Family Affairs, and then I wanted to join that as well. So that was the first course that I took. And then I
Okay,
started one birth training.
okay.
So then after I took this training, now since I'm also expecting again,
Mabruk, what do you do?
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallahu khairan. So I've started again revising my Amani teacher's book course because in between I was doing my other projects and also my breastfeeding classes. So I'm just refreshing my whole memory,
Mashallah.
and I plan to at least have a more empowered birth this time, inshallah.
Yeah, knowledge is definitely power. And you said you tried to empower yourself. What do you find is different from whatever it was that you saw before your first baby to what you saw with a body?
Sorry, can you repeat
Excuse
again?
me. Between the classes that you took when you were pregnant with your first baby, I'm assuming that was not Amani classes, right?
No, no, it wasn't.
And
It
so
wasn't.
you had some knowledge, and then you took Amani. What do you see as the difference between what you had before and what you have now, knowledge wise?
I am more confident because from the time I started taking the Amani birth classes, from the day one, I know what to expect, and I know how I need to take care of my own body, and I
Hundred.
also know how my body is going to respond to certain things. So even if there is like if even if there could be any complications, I would know what to do, what is the direction I need to go, whether it's like who I need to ask, how strongly I need to feel about it. So basically, even the minute things which actually I believe that many mothers should be taking care of, they normally are very naive about it, or they try to ignore, or they just blindly follow an advice,
Right.
which I don't do that, because I need to confirm, or I take a second opinion, or the Amani birth is like a safe haven for me where I can search for the important things that I can, expect for during my pregnancy, and even before my birth, how soon I need to prepare for certain things in my birth, the
Right.
timing, the process, where I need to look out for, who I need to look support for. So these are the things that I can, step by step plan out my whole pregnancy journey from day one. And the biggest thing I feel was that in my first pregnancy, I didn't keep any journal. Now I have kept a
Okay.
journal noticing all my symptoms from day one, so
Right.
that I record that, and then I try to see what exactly is happening, and or I even try to take advice from other Amani birth professionals. So that
Nice.
helps me a lot in tracking my own progress. Plus, after that, inshallah, if I'm able to, I do plan to have a doula anyways for my next birth, inshallah. But also, maybe you can say 20 to 40%. I'm confident myself as to what I need to do till my labor at least,
Right,
inshallah.
right, exactly. And so what was it exactly you knew about Amani, but what was the tipping point that like really made you like engage with Amani birth? Like what was it that made you decide like, okay, I need to do this?
My birth experience, my post-birth experience, basically, and the kind of the interaction with the doctors, and even though I knew through the prenatal classes, after the birth, I realized that I didn't know much. Even my own efforts were like, gone into the water. So through Amani birth, I'm more confident now that what exactly I need to talk to the doctor.
Right.
The
Yeah, I think, that's
there.
really key, Aisha, because I think a lot of times people are intimidated. And I think one of the things that Amani does is it gives you the knowledge and the language to be
Yeah.
able to have the confidence to be able to have intelligent conversations with your care provider. And when you have those intelligent conversations, then you're much more likely to have your birth plan respected. So
Yes.
I think that's a big deal. That really is a big
I
deal.
actually have started, like, even though right now I'm just consulting my family doctor, I have found the birth centers in my local locality in India. So now there is an online
Okay.
consultation with a midwife, so that I know what to expect, or at least if I'm talking with some midwife at present right now, I will know from a midwife's point of view that how she's seeing my pregnancy, even through the historical analysis online. So I have an appointment online on Saturday. That's the birth center in Bangalore. So it's like I am trying to assess myself also at present with whatever the symptoms I'm having, and according to whatever knowledge I have gained with the Amani birth, to discuss with my midwife, so that I am also getting experience as to what I need to speak to them, and if I talk with the doctor future on, I will know what are the differences that are going to happen. So I'm like literally um,
Comparison.
taking very cautious steps even from day one for my pregnancy, how I need to take care of my health, and what I need to expect, and even in like the beginning first trimester also.
So how far along are you now? When are you due?
Now I am around, I think, 5 6 weeks.
Oh, nice, mashallah, very early. So you have plenty of time to get yourself ready. That's amazing. Are you
Yeah,
planning? Are you planning to go back to India to give birth?
not exactly, but in
Okay.
case if there's any chances, like here, if I don't receive that kind of a support from the medical professionals, then maybe, not very sure, maybe it's just 20%. But then if, since I'm having an opportunity to discuss with a midwife direct online, I will want to acquaint myself to someone with a midwife, the professional who can just who can let me know what exactly a midwife is going to think about, the
Okay.
my own pregnancy.
Now, where did you say you're from India? Where in India is your family from? You
I
didn't,
am
but you
actually,
grew up there.
my dad's from Chennai, mom's from Bangalore, so I'm like from both places.
Okay, mashallah. Okay, wonderful. So, do you find difference between the obstetricians I'm assuming that you're seeing here in UAE versus the midwife that you're consulting back there? Do you see a difference between the approach of the obstetricians and the midwives?
Midwives, I'm going to consult for the first time. I don't know. I have
Oh,
to
okay,
just
gotcha.
take experience first.
Haven't
But
you
with the
haven't talked to them yet?
Gynecologists, I've heard a lot about other things in India that the gynecologists they're very experienced, but they won't even ask or discuss anything with the patient in India. At least here in UAE, they do discuss, and we have the right to choose something. Our birth plan, if we can present, we have the right, we have the options to choose in different hospitals. But in India, whatever hospital you choose, you're just put on the bed, and then that's all. What you can't even open your mouth.
Okay.
In India, it's that bad
Okay.
with the hospitals, especially.
And do they let anyone go in with you?
In India, I'm not sure. No, no. Most of the hospitals don't allow you to go in with
Yeah.
anyone.
Okay. So what's the difference in UAE, do you think? What do you get here that's different than there?
Here, at least, you get to select those hospitals where you are provided with the rights that you need as a mother in labor. You can take the partner along. You can even present your birth plans. You can ask to speak to the midwife. So there are certain hospitals here that offer those facilities.
Okay.
So here, you at least you have an open choice. In India, you don't have that.
Okay. So the birth plan is more likely to be respected here.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what about you said that you're talking to midwives though back there. Are the midwives back there different? Do you think? I mean, what would make you want to consult with them?
That's what I wanted to know. I just wanted to try that out because since they have that facility there, I would want to assess my situation, like if it's here or there. If there it's like more doula and more natural birth friendly, then maybe I would consider. But even I would need to consider the logistic reasons, the cost and everything.
Right.
If I
Right.
find if I find here that maybe if it's the same, but then here it's easier to have the birth with a doula, then
Right.
obviously I will select it here, inshallah.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I will say I've heard some really good things. I know there's at least I think it's I don't know if it's in Hyderabad. I'm not sure, but there's like one place that's like really super supportive in India. Um,
I
and so
think
that's like
birthplace coalition, I guess, in Kerala.
okay, maybe it's in Kerala. And I know that there's like it's kind of like a beacon of hope, but I know that like most of the places, like you said, it's still very much like get on the bed, shut up, I'm the doctor, I'll do what I'm gonna do, So I know that's probably what most women experience, but I do know you have that one beacon there that's like, a raining a ray of sunshine and of hope. And I really hope that their success will multiply throughout the whole country, because that would be, so amazing if every single birthplace was supportive like that. So that's
I
really
actually
huge.
plan to start, inshallah, in India because in my place in Chennai, there is not a single awareness about natural birth or even breastfeeding.
Oh, okay.
So in my future, I am planning to start. I wish to start at least an Amani focused birth center or at least a birth clinic to start with. So that's my mission or main
In Chennai.
wish that I want to do in India, in my own home country,
Okay.
home city.
So you're planning to move back there at some point, like to go there to live?
Maybe if obviously my first preference is here, but then what even if I'm not moving back there, if I'm having the enough support system there who can look after the work, then obviously I would love to start there and start functioning it also, inshallah.
Right.
And
Right, right,
I mean,
right.
even
At Amani Birth, we've had like a desire to reach out and be present in India and for a long time. And we had plans to go do workshops there and stuff, and we just never made it over. And at the end of the day, then it ends up having we had COVID, and now because of COVID, this is the silver lining. We're doing online trainings, and so we've actually had quite a few girls in India come on board and take the Amani training, like yourself. You were in UAE, I was in Saudi, but we did the training anyways. How did you find doing the training online? Did you find it satisfactory? How did you find going through that on an online way?
for me, it was very satisfactory because actually I was wishing out for a physical one because it would be more attractive and more.
Right. That's always been our
Yeah,
intention as well. I'm curious what the experience was from your perspective now that you've done it.
yeah. Now it's like I'm very much confident. It was very much close to whatever the real training because the real training anyway it's just the physical aspects of the exercises and everything. But then whatever the knowledge I got with even with the online version as well, it's pretty much enough for me to certify myself also for and being confident in whatever knowledge I have gained from the online classes.
Right. I think, to be honest with you, um, the online training, I hate to say this, but I think it might even actually be better than the face to face. To be honest with you, Aisha, in one part because you get more of my time. And the face to face training, we were doing 3 days, and they were 8-hour days, and so it's like a lot of. Can you imagine everything that you did crammed into 3 days? And when you did it, it was 5 hours and it was either
Yeah,
6 or 7
yeah.
sessions.
It was very easily paced for me.
So
Yes,
it's,
that was very
it's
convenient.
30 to 35 hours instead of just 21. And it wasn't 3 cram days. You got
Yes,
one day a week so that you had time to absorb in between with homework in between. So I think the pace of the online was so much better, actually. And then the homework that we give you in the online that you don't have in the face-to-face, I think really helps to solidify the knowledge. So I think
yes,
that's huge. Now you
yes. It
mentioned
was,
go ahead.
yeah, and the biggest positive part was that being with my daughter, I didn't have to leave her. I just had to
Right.
give her to my husband and then attend. So it was easier for me. I don't know, Qadar Allah, it became a lot easier for me to attend the online version because of my situation also, since I couldn't leave my daughter and even come for the
Right.
physical classes. It was very
Right.
easy.
Um, I was going to ask you something else. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, you have quite a few initiatives that you have going on. How many mothers do you have in your? I think you have a WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah, WhatsApp, Ahlan Motherhood, more than 200.
Okay. I'm just going to type that. Ahlan Motherhood.
Yeah.
Um, and where are most of those women from?
Many of them are from India, and the second highest are from UAE.
Okay.
And those mothers in the Ahlan Motherhood don't even know the beginning start of the pregnancy journey, that they just know that, okay, the doctor said this, I need to give. And even if sometimes there are, me and even Dina, we are all members in the group and we try to help them out. The
Yeah,
mothers are
she's
so,
another Amani
so
trainee. She's another Amani certified. She's an Amani
yeah.
certified affiliate. Yeah.
So the mothers are so naive, even if we are giving them some information or if some information is being shared, still after seeing the information, they are just so, they don't even know the importance of natural birth, that they finally say, okay, my doctor said this and I did that without even thinking a second thought.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of not awareness in India about natural birth.
Right. I don't think that's just India, though. I shall be honest with you. It's pretty much worldwide. There's a lot of ignorance around what we should be doing and how we should be preparing. And we've kind
Yeah.
of been raised up as a community of people that, you go to the doctor and they know best and you just do whatever the doctor says, which is fine if you have a super supportive doctor who supports the normal physiology. But most doctors are more focused on pharmacology and interventions, and most doctors are not focused on physiology. So unfortunately, we've been taught, just do what your doctor says. But a lot of times, what your doctor says is actually just a lot of interventions that actually kind of interrupt the normal physiology. So it is so important. And I agree with you. Like moms that interface with me when they first come in contact with me, it's like they know there's something about me that they want to, or about Amani or whatever that they want to embrace, but they don't really know what it is. And it's not until they work with us that they really get the handle of like, oh my gosh, this is important and I have to make decisions,
Yeah. Plus, they
So,
are into a lot of social pressure from their families and their culture,
right.
the society.
India and Pakistan, especially, I find that absolutely the mother-in-law has so much influence. So you laugh because you know it's true. So,
Alhamdulillah, but mine is like not, they are in my family, somehow they are not, they don't pressure. They just
uh-huh.
know that you have this knowledge, and then they know, they do trust what we are doing. So, but
So,
in a lot of other places in like different states in India, you can say you have these like pockets of states where
mhm.
they have a lot of influence from the extended relatives.
Yes.
And
Yes.
even if the mother wants to do something, she's not allowed to do it. It's like that.
Yeah, that's really sad. You're old enough to get pregnant, but you're not old enough to make decisions
Yeah,
about that pregnancy.
yeah,
It's kind of like, like how does that work? Like I'm old enough to have the relationship. I'm old enough to carry the
yeah,
baby and mother the baby, but you're not going to give me, you're not going to give me the autonomy to make the decisions. And that's kind of an issue. And this is one of the reasons, like when we teach Amani birth, we're like, please, 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 anybody who has influence, anybody that's involved, bring them to the class. If that's your mother, if that's your mother-in-law, if that's your husband, like bring them to the class so everybody can get educated, so that everybody understands the importance of these decisions, and so that when they're being made, everybody can support them, hopefully. That's really
right,
important. Yeah, really
right.
important. So tell me specifically, how would you say, you came to me and said, I want to be a part of this interview. How would you say that Amani has changed your life?
Um, Amani has changed my life in the most from depth. The confidence level that I've achieved for my natural birth, and even thinking from like what exactly is happening in my body. It's that I'm not unaware of things. So
Okay.
from that depth of knowledge, from the time of the conception, you can say the knowledge which I'm gaining and how I need to look after myself, it's changed. It's changed my basic my you can say my life in one part where birthing has become a more I'm looking forward to it instead of
Oh,
getting scared
nice.
about it.
Right.
So even though there is a small fear that you have, but since you know I have the knowledge, knowledge is power. So once we know about that, we are more confident in dealing with whatever is coming our way. And the biggest part in the Amani education that they teach is trusting Allah's the Allah's will and Allah's creation as a woman. So that confidence is that tawakkul in Allah is more after the education from Amani birth and the books.
Did that impact you in other areas of your life, do you believe?
Sorry.
Did that part of the course or that part of the philosophy, did it impact you in other areas of your life?
Yes, it did a lot. It
MashaAllah.
helped me in basically the whole confidence level has changed. The whole approach for my whole approach has changed in approaching my own pregnancy and even seeking knowledge on more like even after like when I came since I knew about Amani birth, I also started the breastfeeding courses.
Uh-huh.
So everything and more the more knowledge I'm gaining about natural birth and that the Allah's the trust in Allah's the creation, everything in my life, like from food, from the basic living, from detoxifying. I even did a course on detoxification. So it was like after Amani birth that I started all these courses where I wanted to specialize myself in all the natural ways where I can detoxify my environment and try to be more naturally focused, which
Nice.
helps because the birth is not only the birth or the labor process. The birth is all like whatever you're exposed to, whatever you're eating, your interactions, your environment, and your even your tawakkul with Allah. So everything, everywhere it has helped me, alhamdulillah.
Nice. And that's so important, you know. You said something huge there, and it's not just about the birth, is it? It's about all the preparation, all of the building up to the birth. You know, and of course,
Yeah.
coping with the labor and birth is one thing, and you prepare for that, but you have to take care of yourself on the whole journey. And then in the end of
Mhm.
that, it's like you have this new life you're responsible for, and then you know the postpartum comes in, and then you've been training for as a breastfeeding counselor, so it all ties in so nicely. Now you have your own the Ahlam Motherhood, but don't you have something else too? Another brand that you call
I
or that
go
you use?
I Go Holistic is my natural focus brand for women's coaching. So we also do women's coaching for motherhood, for pregnancy, lactation, mental health, nutrition. So we do coaching for women, tailor-made coaching for whatever requirements they have.
Okay,
And everything is all holistic and natural focused coaching
okay,
programs.
okay. And that coaching program that you're doing, say the name again. IG Holistic.
Yeah, I Go Holistic.
Okay. And who's helping you with that? Who else is involved?
I'm the single person handling
Single.
that, and my husband is a co-founder. Whatever ideas we discuss, the execution on the technical side, marketing side, planning side, I'm the one who's taking charge.
Okay, so your husband supports you in the efforts, though.
Yes,
That sounds like
alhamdulillah.
he's a bit like my husband. I have him on board, and he's very supportive as well. I couldn't do this
He's
work
the
without
back
having
end
a
role
supportive
because he
husband.
says, okay, fine, this is good. We can go ahead. He gives ideas, and then whatever I need to execute with that, put it in full planning and structure. I do the
That's
stuff.
awesome. That's awesome. And but you have other people who actually do coaching with you, don't you? That do coaching under your brand, or no, or not
Yeah,
yet?
they are doing coaching under my brand. The nutrition, the lactation breastfeeding counselor is there. Then mental
Okay.
health counselor. We also have a legal counselor as well for any
Oh,
family
nice,
problem. So
nice,
we
nice.
have to try to incorporate multiple coaches for any kind of you can say a group coaching program or even tailor-made coaching program if the mother needs according to her requirements.
Right. That's awesome, mashallah. So at the end of the day, you know, we've got only got a few minutes left. Is there any like last words of wisdom that you'd like to share with other moms out there?
I want moms to seek education, whatever the case. Like before, even one more thing I didn't tell that about like Amani, but before the Amani course, and before even knowing in the depth about the Amani birth and the natural birth process, I wasn't very confident of seeking even knowledge or doing something as apart from mothering my own child. Like I just knew that okay, mothering is a tough job and that you may not find time for gaining knowledge. But now for this pregnancy, the efforts I'm putting in are more than the efforts what I put in for my first child. even in
Okay.
seeking knowledge, planning out for my pregnancy, giving time for myself, understanding the whole process for my birth and the preparation, everything. So I think every mother can at least dedicate half an hour in a day, or maybe minimum 15 minutes a day, to start with the seeking knowledge for their betterment of their future, whether it's Deen Islamic knowledge, whether it's like even the knowledge they need to do for their own families. Because apart what they start with and when they're consistent with, Allah will make them successful in that. So they need to know what are the priorities. They need to prioritize. They need to find time for that priority somehow, anyhow, whatever situation they are in. It's only then that they can succeed. Because if they leave that gap in between, the whole cycle may break.
Yes, I agree with you. And you said something else very important there. You said, whatever you focus on, Allah will make you successful. And if you want it, you have to go after it. A lot
Yes.
doesn't change the conditions of a people until they change it themselves. So if you want something, you really do have to go after it. You have to accept Allah's decree about the results, but you have to put the effort in. So that's
Yes.
really huge.
And
That's
that's
really
the main thing, that where mothers don't put the effort in for their own pregnancy, they leave the whole responsibility on the care provider, which is not right ethically
right.
also in a way. They're responsible for their own birthing journey, and yeah, it is important.
Yeah, I agree. So mothers usually leave the responsibilities. I agree, on someone else,
Yes.
doctor, or maybe elders in the family, right?
Yeah, that also
So
possible. The first is always a doctor, and then they're like, if the doctor says that nothing goes.
right, yeah, stand up for their own health. I think.
Yes, they should.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the
No.
very end, as we close, I just want to confirm with you. You asked to be on this this Facebook Live. I'm so glad that you came on with me. And so you would say for sure that Amani has changed your life, right?
Yes, big time, big time. It has changed my whole perspective of my own health also.
Wow, that's amazing, Aisha. Thank you so much. I'm so glad for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope that your message reaches so many mothers because you have
Inshallah.
a voice, you have an individual voice, and you have a uniqueness about what you want to do and how you want to reach moms. And I'm glad to be a part of that journey with you. That Amani is a part of your journey, but I know that your journey is bigger than that. And I really hope that Allah bless you and that you reach many, many, many mothers in the world, and that the work that you're doing will be a benefit to them,
Amin.
and a sadaqah jariyah for you. So,
Amin.
may
Jazakallahu
Allah,
khairan.
just anyway, may Allah bless you.
Amin, Amin. And may Allah bless Amani birth as well. The kind of
Jazakallah.
information and the Islamic focused birthing program for women, it's a much needed program for women all over the world and for
Yeah,
all ages.
I honestly believe that and it's not because it's my program or because I'm part of Amani. I really believe that Amani should be a household name. Like if you get pregnant, you should take an Amani class. That's just what you should do.
Yeah.
Read the book, take a class. And I'm saying that because it does change your life. The way that you go through childbirth affects you forever. And
Yes.
this is not anything to play with. Like don't leave it to chance.
Yeah.
Like get educated and do your part. At the end of the day, Allah's in control of the outcome. But you have, you have to put the effort in, and you can't just sit back and wait and let somebody else make all the decisions. So I think what you said was really huge, Aisha. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much. Jazakallahu khairan.
Anyway, okay, you take care, and I'll see you soon, inshallah. Assalamu
Sure.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.